And thanks so much for joining us tonight or today. As it's we're recording this in advance of signing day. We'll release it on signing day, but
Yep.
it's a big day for guys in your class to finally make it official and
Yeah.
be part of the Pitt program. I mean, I think you're not enrolling until June, right?
Yeah, no, I'm coming in June, yeah.
Okay.
June 18th,
What
I think.
Yeah, what are you looking forward to the most about once you finally get to Pitt and being part of the
Yeah.
program?
I mean, the thing I'm most excited about, I think, is just being able to practice, just coming, working with Coach Borbs and getting better. That's what I'm most excited about. I just
Hmm.
can't wait to see like the player he helps me become. I just can't wait to see the progress. That's what I'm excited for.
How big are you now? What's your height and weight?
I'm 6'5", 270 right now.
270.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've been like losing a little bit because of wrestling, but you know,
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. I mean, what'd you play at this season? Well, wait.
I was around 275, 280 ish.
Okay.
I usually swing around between 270 and 280.
Okay. So
Yeah.
we were laughing, like I said, we're taping this on Monday night here, and as I was sort of writing some other stuff for signing day, I found this photo of you from last like January.
Yeah.
You were going to wrestle at 280, I think, was it?
Mhm.
Is that what you
Yeah.
wrestled at last year?
Yeah.
And you were warming up by walking on your hands. So
Yeah.
is that a normal thing for a guy who's 280 pounds to be able to do? Just walk around on his hands, no big deal.
I think that's the result of working hard in the weight room and being able to just God gifted talent. I mean, I think I'm pretty athletic for my size, in my opinion. So, if you add hard work on top of that, weight room, stretching, all that stuff, I mean, that's the result you're gonna get. Be able to walk on my hands and stuff like that.
I think I said something on Twitter like, "Oh, pretty good movement for a guy his size," but I was like, I don't know how to describe that. Is that athleticism? Is it agility? Is it just shoulder stability? Is it core?
I
Like,
think
what do
I
you
think
think
it's
that says the most about?
I think it's all of them combined. I mean, especially like specifically with walking on your hands. I mean, you got to like balance yourself and your legs. You got to like use your core. You got to use everything. It's pretty tough. I mean, I can't walk on my feet on my hands for like that long, but
Yeah, right.
I can do it. I can do it pretty good though.
Yeah, I mean, you look pretty good in that picture. Maybe they snapped it at the exact right moment, but
Oh
you
no,
seem to get it good. Now, I mean, kind of more important as far as football goes. I always think there's an interesting overlap or correlation between wrestling and
yeah,
football, particularly linemen. You know what I mean?
mhm,
And
yeah,
to some extent, safeties and linebackers who need to tackle, but linemen especially. What do you think
yeah,
you got most out of wrestling that helps you the most with football? Leverage, strength.
yeah.
What do you think?
I think it's specifically my hip mobility because you got to stay in your stance, a lot. Another thing would be like my hands, just being able to like, because you're always like in your stance and you're bending your hips, your hands are always, you got to get them right when you're collar tying and stuff like that. So I think it helps most with that because when you're a lineman, I mean, you got to get your hands inside, and you're driving people. So it kind of correlates the same way.
Okay. Now
Yeah.
you're wrestling again this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you what are you wrestling at this year?
Heavyweight. So it's 285 is the max. Is
Oh,
max
okay.
right now.
I guess
Yeah.
that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
They don't break it down too much once you get to a certain size. How did you do last year's in wrestling? Like how far did you get?
So I made it to regionals. I ended up getting hurt in the first match, actually. I hurt my arm. I went to take a shot and the kid sprawled and my shoulder went up and there was like a pop in my arm. Something I don't know, but I just couldn't I couldn't move my arm for like the next like month or so. It was bad.
Right.
But I mean I'm better now. I ended the season 25-6, I think. I'm not exactly sure but yeah, I had a pretty good season though. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say if the first number, if the wins start with a 20 and the losses are single digit, I'd say it's a pretty good season.
Yeah. Yeah.
What like as you sort of look ahead to this year's wrestling season. I mean, obviously the goals are always to win
Mhm.
everything, but I mean, what do what do you hope to accomplish this year, other than obviously stay
Yeah.
healthy, not get hurt.
Yeah. I mean, I want to just go out and I want to play. I want to wrestle in states. I mean, that would be amazing. I think it's at Hershey, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
But wrestling in a stadium like that is just kind of crazy for me. And I want to also get kind of my redemption because I got hurt last year in the first match. So I wanted to see how far I can go. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
As far as football goes, this past season, you and I were talking about it there real briefly. You guys go 11-1. I'm just kind of scrolling through the scores here, and I know. Well, first of
Yeah.
all, do you play both ways, or do you just play on offense?
I just played offense. Yeah.
Okay, because I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, I mean, you guys scored a lot. There's some big numbers there, but I'm reading through like the opponent's scores and like
Hmm.
0,
Yeah.
26, 6, 0,
Yeah.
0, 0, 0, 0, 7, 0, 0. I mean, you
Yeah,
guys only needed to score about 10 points in most games, it looks
yeah.
like.
I mean, our
The
defense was just unbelievable. I mean, I can't like they just they were that was the best. Like in practice, their energy was unmatched. They were just the hard working the whole team in general. I mean,
mm,
our whole team, like especially our seniors, we were like the hardest working group of kids I've like ever seen. Like you should have seen us in the weight room like in the spring. All of us squatting like over 500. It was crazy. Like we had our outside linebacker, one of our outside linebackers squatting 500, same way with the linemen. Like we
mm,
were all just like going crazy. It was just
wow.
yeah.
That's it's interesting because I'm doing a bunch of these interviews, and a lot of guys in Pitt's class
Hmm.
did well this year. You know what I mean? Won a state championship or had one
Yeah,
loss or two losses. There's a kid from Aliquippa, Cam Lindsay. They went
yeah.
14-0,
I
and
saw
won the
that.
state
Yeah,
title. And I'm kind of asking a lot of these guys, like, what was it about this team? Like, what was it about this year's Downingtown East team that
yeah. Hmm.
enabled you guys to do that, to go 11-1? And we'll talk about what happened in that final game in a second. But
Yeah,
to go 11-1 and have that kind of season, is it that
yeah.
that work ethic you talk about? Is it leadership? What was it about this year's team?
I think it was the group of seniors. I mean, we were like close. We were like this. Like we were like brothers. I've never been as close with anybody in my life as them. So I think when you're playing with your brothers and you're working as hard as you possibly can, and everything just is perfect. I mean, that's the result.
Nice.
You're gonna have a successful season.
Now, there was the final game. What round of the playoffs was it? When
That
you
was
guys
the
finally
third round.
lost?
That
Third
was the
round.
semifinals. Yeah,
Okay, the semifinals, and it's Downingtown West. Now, I don't
yeah,
know rivalries all that well, but I'm going to guess when you play for Downingtown East, then Downingtown
yeah,
West is probably a bit of. Is that crosstown? Is that kids you've played against all your
yeah.
life? Like
We
how
all like
close?
grew up. Yeah, we all grew
Yeah.
up with each other. I live in Downingtown. Like
Hmm.
I technically like if you were to go back, I think like 10 years, like I would be at West. But yeah, I think like the line, like they split it like down the street from my house. Like
Oh wow.
yeah, but I think the school because it was one school, which was my school, Downingtown East, but it was just
Hmm.
called Downingtown, and then it got split in 2001.
Okay.
And ever since then, it's just been a big rivalry. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really big. It's really
Is it
big.
got? I mean, you played against these guys, midget league and pee wee and all that stuff. I mean, you've been playing against them all your life. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, I didn't start playing football till seventh grade actually,
hmm.
but I've always known like all the kids that went to West all my life, and we all have known each other. But we kind of like put that aside when the games would come in. It would just be a war. It would just be a whole war. Like we did
Sure.
not care we did not care. We threw our relationships out the window. We were ready to
Yep.
play.
Yeah.
Uh,
You said you started playing in seventh grade. I mean, did you have a different sport in mind, or did you hit a growth spurt? Were you always kind of a bigger guy, like middle
yeah,
school?
yeah. I was always big. I played basketball throughout like elementary school. I stopped playing in seventh grade.
Hmm.
I always wanted to play football, but my dad never let me because all like his friends in like the Pop Warner leagues, their kids were always getting concussions and stuff. So he did not want that for me. But I was able to convince him finally. I think I was in sixth grade. I told him I want to play football next year, and he was like, all right, he was fine with it,
Hmm.
and I just fell in love with it ever since then. I mean, I
And
wasn't the best player in seventh and eighth grade, but I mean, I loved it.
takes a little while to get into it for sure.
Yeah,
And then you committed to Pitt relatively early. I'd kind of forgotten
mhm,
you committed like last spring. Like you didn't wait for your
yeah.
official visit or anything. What made you so sure about Pitt? At that early point.
I mean, I think I was ready to make a decision even in February. Even I
Hmm.
already knew, like, I had my mind set on Pitt. It was just everything. I love the coaches. After the, what's it called? I came for a basketball game in
Yeah.
January. After that, yeah, I got to sit with Coach Narduzzi and talk with him, all the coaches. I just loved the atmosphere. I loved everything. So it was really nice. I just felt like home. It felt perfect.
Right. And then I'm guessing Coach Narduzzi came out and visited you some point in the
Yeah,
last couple of weeks, right?
yeah. I think it was 2 weeks ago now.
Okay. How was it sort of catching up with him again and, just sort of sitting at having him at your house and,
Yeah,
sort of welcoming him in?
yeah, it was nice. I had my aunt and uncle actually came too to meet him.
Hmm.
So it was like my whole family was here. It was nice. He got a chance to meet all of us. My mom made food for him,
Hmm.
Egyptian food. He liked it. Him and Coach Borbs liked it. Him, Coach Borbs, and Coach Sanders actually were all three of them were there.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Nice. Do you Egyptian food is your family you have Egyptian roots?
yeah. My both my parents are Egyptian. My whole
Oh,
family's
okay.
Egyptian. Yeah,
Oh, wow. Okay. Are
yeah,
you like first generation born here or were your
yeah.
parents born here?
Yeah. No, I was born. I'm the first generation born.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone to Egypt? Have you ever
Um,
visited?
the last time I was in Egypt, I was about 6 years old. Yeah,
Uh,
I haven't been there in a while. I want to go back though, really bad. I think I might go this spring. I'm not
oh
sure
yeah.
100%.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool, cool. So
yeah.
what? I'm curious. What did Coach Narduzzi and those guys think of Egyptian food?
They
How'd they
liked it.
respond? Yeah.
They were they were eating. I was just kept putting food on their plate. They just kept eating.
What I don't know if I don't know if I've had Egyptian food. What is Egyptian food? I mean, would you compare it to another style of food, or what sort of defines it?
Um, I mean, I guess you could compare some of it to kind of like Indian food, but not really. Like, kind of in some way, like the rice and all that stuff and the spices.
Hmm.
What my mom made was called was like grape leaves. Like grape leaves like wrapped in rice.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah, she made that, and with lamb and other Egyptian stuff. Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, I don't know. I don't really know how to explain. I'm just kind of like it's
I'll
just
have
like
to,
normal.
have you like Googled it? Have you done any research to see if there's any like Egyptian restaurants in Pittsburgh or restaurants in
Oh
Pittsburgh that
yeah,
serve
I remember
stuff?
on my official there was like an Egyptian or not Egypt. There was an Arab food truck. I remember right
Okay.
across from the place we were eating breakfast. So that was
Oh,
right in the
okay.
campus. Yeah,
All right, all right. I'll have to keep an eye. I'll have to keep an eye out because you got me intrigued now. I don't know if I've ever had Egyptian food, so I
you're gonna have to try it. Yeah,
might have to look it up. All right. Well, I appreciate it. Look, this has been a very fruitful, productive conversation here because
yeah.
now I'm going to sort of seek it out. But all right. Well, thanks so much for taking some time. I really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Congratulations on signing and everything. Good luck with the wrestling season,
Yep.
and we'll see you once you get to Pittsburgh in June.
Thank you.